Good morning, wives. Listen, I am running behind. I am running behind. Good morning. And I need to share some things with you before I get off. I have a few sessions after this because I didn't have any sessions on Easter weekend. Good morning. And so I'm going to just jump right into this because this is going to probably be a little bit different today. Coach T is a little bit frustrated this morning. But I'm going to explain to you why I'm frustrated. And I'm going to explain to you the reason behind it. Some may not take this message very well after I share with you what I have to share with you. And that is fine. That is totally fine. I just want to apologize in advance. I want to thank you for your support in advance. And I also want to just say, there's a time in the season for everything. All right. And for some reason, I have been really, really getting that unction from the Lord about the time is now, change is here. The time is now, change is here. So before I even get into my notes and express to you and share with you some of my frustration, I want to start off by first saying this. Listen, wives. I'm saying this respectfully. I am not a preacher. I am not a pastor. I'm not necessarily even a inspirational type of speaker. Even though sometimes I share inspirational and encouraging words with the wives that I coach. I am a coach. I am a business and wife coach. I am a coach. I coach wives who are going through a marital separation that involves or includes adultery, abandonment, and addiction. I am a coach who just so happened to be prophetic. I am a coach, good morning, who can tell you the odds and the ends about marriage separation in those areas of abandonment, addiction, and adultery. Okay? I can give you the odds and ends of that. I can tell you and share with you about health and wellness. I have 20 years in the medical field. My 20 years in the medical field, I have seen and experienced in my own marriage, in my own personal marriage, the highs and lows of people not taking care of themselves in whatever state that they're in on their journey in life. My situation just happened to be my marriage because I was going through a tough season in my marriage, and I seen how God turned my situation around. I see how God worked with me. I see how God helped me. I see how God healed me on my journey. But also working in the medical field and seeing others experience that same lack of self-care, that same lack of their well-being, I've experienced those things. My frustration this morning is I have been in commune with many wives. And a lot of the wives that I speak with are on one or two sides of the spectrum. They are either at a place on their journey where their marriage has fallen apart. Separation has, come forward. They don't know what to do. They need help. This and that and the other. Okay. Or on the other side of it, the marriage has fallen apart. Marriage separation has taken place. They need help. And now they're going to just continue to pursue and do this thing God's way. They're going to do this thing God's way in a sense of, I'm not going to continue doing sessions. I'm not going to continue to walk with a coach. I am going to only walk this out with the Lord. I'm going to only walk this out with the Lord. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, they come back now in the worst condition that they were in when I first spoke with them. Now their condition is much, much, much worse. Now the situation has gotten worse. And it's like, how are you not getting this? How are you not getting this? Okay? So today, I wanted to spend some time and share some very practical and transparent information with you about marriage separation and about some updates about Buoyancy Wife Coaching and what's happening next. Okay? I really want to kind of go to that place. First, for the ones who may not know me, please forgive me. Please forgive Coach T today. My name is Coach T. I am a mental health wife coach, a mental health Christian wife coach. I help wives who happen to be going through a marital separation. They're separated from their husbands for a temporary season, where maybe abandonment, adultery, or addiction has come up in their marriage. These wives have every reason to leave the marriage. They have every reason to leave the marriage, but they feel a tug or a pull from the Holy Spirit to stay in that marriage. They don't feel like, they're supposed to actually exit out of this marriage. All right? And so that's how I help wives. My area of expertise falls under marriage separation. All right? So I say for all of my new wife followers, welcome. And I also want to encourage you to go back and binge watch some of my videos about marriage standing, about marriage separation. I always like to just encourage you, especially before reaching out for a wife consultation. Because a lot of times, sometimes wives will get, they may see me on TikTok, or they may watch, one, video. And then they're not really familiar with my coaching style, how I coach, that type of thing. And so I just always encourage you, don't just watch this video. Go back and watch a few of the videos about marriage separation, about marriage standing, and see if I am the type of coach that may resonate with what you have going on, and if you are ready and willing to take that next step. All right? I want to start off by saying this. The purpose of marriage is to know God. The purpose of your marriage is to know God. There are two sides. Good morning. There are two sides to your marriage. There is a carnal or natural side to your marriage, and there is a spiritual side to your marriage. All right? There is a carnal or natural side to your marriage, and there is a spiritual side of your marriage. What I have experienced with the wives that I work with, a lot of times wives are unfamiliar with what is taking place on the spiritual side of their marriage covenant. A lot of times wives are struggling, are defeated, are losing, marriages are coming to an end because spouses are unaware of what's taking place on the spiritual side. The carnal side, the natural side, is very obvious, okay? intimacy, the physical touch, okay, the marriage relationship, maybe a disconnect there. Couples may not be necessarily spending that time together. Maybe a communication barrier, maybe some finances, maybe a little, some children issues, maybe a little bit of outside family, situations, but nothing major. This is all natural. This is like the natural side of the marriage. I call this like the surface base type of, type of stuff. But when you get to the spiritual side, you're dealing with stuff like addiction, adultery, lust, masturbation. You're dealing with different type of, spiritual opponents. You're dealing with a lot of demonic influences and demonic, activity. When you get to that side of your marriage, wife, and I'm really trying to say this, take my time, but at the same time, I can't take too long. When you get to that side, for an example, if you get to the place where your husband has left his marital home to go and be with another woman, and your husband has told you, I no longer want to pursue this marriage, or I no longer love you, or I no longer want to do this thing called marriage with you, or your husband has completely abandoned his home. He has completely abandoned his home, and he has abandoned his responsibilities, and he has abandoned his, his role as husband. Or your husband has gotten entangled. He has gotten entangled with some type of drug, some type of, alcohol substance, some type of alcohol and drug, usage. When your husband gets to that place, or if that is something that has come up in your marriage, you are no longer, wife, dealing with a natural situation. You're no longer dealing with a natural conflict. You are now dealing with a spiritual conflict that requires more than just, now lay me down to sleep prayers. Okay? And I am really, really, really trying to not be mean or harsh or anything. What I'm trying to express and get over to wife is you need more than what maybe the average marriage would need. Who, me and my husband, we just having a communication, breakdown, or me and my husband, we just kind of going through a phase right now, or, whatever. When you're starting to deal with demonic stuff, jealousy, anger, bitterness, hate, aggressiveness, when you start to deal with those, you're not dealing with a natural situation. And so when spiritual things start to happen in a marriage, instead of that wife recognizing, this is not just something like, a little surface matter. It's not like a little small conflict. This is something that is really, really, really serious, and I need to go get the necessary help. You are not now able, good morning, you're not now able to handle those same types of, situations in your own natural way of handling things. You need a spiritual strategy to handle this. You can no longer handle those things in just the natural way of things, okay? Wives have to understand this, okay? And I'm trying to break it down to the simplest format where you can understand. Back in the book of Genesis chapter 2, it says, so the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. And the Lord God fashioned into a woman the rib which he had taken from the man and brought her to the man. All right. And the man said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Good morning. Okay. There is no other relationship created this way outside of a husband and wife. There is no other relationship created this way outside of a husband and wife relationship. This lets you know that marriage is a big deal to God. Marriage is a big deal to God. There are natural conflicts in your marriage, and there are spiritual conflicts in your marriages. Wives have to understand when a spiritual matter comes up in your marriage, very similar to what I just mentioned to you: lust, masturbation, adultery, addiction, jealousy, bitterness, anger, your husband saying, I don't love you no more, your husband leaving and going and be with another woman, your husband completely abandoning his household, your husband under some type of demonic influence. When these types of things, or a wife saying, I don't recognize my husband, and he doesn't look the same, or he's not the same person. When these type of things have taken place, you are not in a natural battle anymore. You're not in a natural fight anymore. You are in a spiritual fight. And because you are in a spiritual fight, you need spiritual weapons in order to battle these things. All right? You need spiritual weapons in order to battle these things. Now, depending where you are on your journey, and if you have recognized if your marriage is a natural issue, your marriage problem is a natural issue or is a spiritual issue, you need to be able to figure that out. This is where you need to say, okay, I need to know if I'm dealing with a natural situation or if I'm dealing with a spiritual situation. Because if I'm dealing with a natural situation, that is something, and I am here to say this, that is something that you probably can say, okay, well, let me go and speak to a marriage counselor, let me go and, see if I can, make an appointment with my pastor, or let me go and see if I can, go and make an appointment, with a therapist. Those are probably some things or some areas that you can probably go and speak to those type of providers for. But if you're dealing with a spiritual matter, if you're dealing with a spiritual situation where this is something that you ain't never seen before and your husband acting all some type of way, you need to go to a person who specializes in that area, or a person who has expertise and experience, wisdom, and knowledge in that area. I'm trying to break it down to the simplest format. And for the ones who may have just joined me, good morning. The reason why I am spilling out these things and expressing my frustration is because I have had too many wives who have come to me in the beginning, had a consultation. I have given them my recommendations as far as what they need to do. They did not follow through with those recommendations. And then 4, 5, 6, 7 months later passes. They come back and now their situation is in a worse condition than it was before. That's a frustration for Coach C. That's a frustration for me. It's a frustration for me because I don't really think wives are necessarily understanding the seriousness behind this thing called a marriage covenant. I don't really think that wives are really understanding how serious God is about the marriage covenant and why your marriage is being attacked like it is. This is not a game. This is not for show. This is not, everybody go through this, or, this is something that everybody go through type of thing. No! You have been specifically chosen. You have been specifically chosen for a specific reason. The enemy has come after you specifically. You have been attacked. This is personal. I've said it before. Good morning. This is a personal situation. If adultery, addiction, lust, jealousy, hate, and all those other things have plagued your marriage, you are in a spiritual battle, wife. You're not in a natural battle. You are in a spiritual battle. And because you are in a spiritual battle, you need spiritual weapons. You need someone who has expertise in this area who can walk with you. You need someone who can journey with you on this, because this is not something that's going to happen overnight where you get an overnight fix Okay, give me a pill. Okay, give me, a action plan, and then, that's it. You need someone to journey with you on this, because you're not going to see the results that you want to see just by doing a one-time consultation or just by checking in every now and again. No, there is a strategy. There is a process to this. And this is what makes me question, why are you serious about the journey that you're on? Because if you're not serious, then that would make sense. But if you're saying that you are believing God for your marriage, you're believing God to reconcile this marriage, you're believing God to do something different in your marriage, if you're believing God for those things, then that means you have to do something different. If you're really, really believing God to change your marriage around or change some things in your marriage, then that means you have to do something different. Why? Okay, if your spouse have left the home, he is no longer a person, or no longer a person that you recognize. That goes completely against everything that represents God. That goes completely against that. You are now dealing with a spiritual problem. And you can't deal with a spiritual problem one time and expect everything. Oh, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do your one-time consultation or your one-time check-in here and every now and again. And then you're going to go and say, oh, I'm going to just walk with God. I'm going to just walk with God. And yet and still, you're walking with God, quote unquote, and your marriage is getting worse and worse and worse. Things are getting worse and worse. I'm so frustrated, I can cry. I'm so frustrated because I've had a situation that recently have come up, a few of them, that has recently come up where I spoke with a wife in the beginning of her situation. I encouraged her, I motivated her, I supported her, I gave her a strategy. Let's go. You need to sign up for her Buoyancy Boost. Let's do the curriculum. This is going to be the best and most effective way for you. Let's go this route to help you. Didn't hear from that person no more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months passed. Now your situation has gotten worse. And it's like, what do you expect to happen? Are you really serious about doing the things that's required for this journey? Okay? Are you serious about doing those things? You cannot handle a spiritual problem a natural way. And you won't be able to handle a spiritual problem in your marriage long term by yourself. If you have a natural situation, I'm going to encourage you today, go meet with your pastor. Sign up with a counselor. Sign up with a therapist. Sign up with someone who can talk you through that mediocre stuff. But if you have a spiritual matter, you need to be connected with someone who can help you spiritually. Now, I'm going to be repeating a lot of stuff as I go. I know I said this earlier. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I am a coach. I am a wife and business coach who just happen to be prophetic. I have expertise in the area of marriage and separation, and I have expertise in the area of wellness. I have expertise in the area of spiritual warfare because these are some of the things I battled in my own personal marriage. I help wives to overcome these issues. I help wives to walk through this. I help wives to have a better understanding of this. Only if she's serious and ready to do what's necessary. Only if she's serious and willing to do the necessary work that's required. Because if she's not serious and if she's just looking for a one-time answer, you're wasting your time on this journey. I get so many wives who I tell them, okay, this is, I give you, even if you can't sign up for the Buoyancy Boost now, I offer you a 30-day follow-up, and then you can check in with me, like I said, up to 3 times. That's my cutoff now, up to 3 times. Of course, after that 3rd time, now I am encouraging you to sign up for the Buoyancy Boost because you still need the Buoyancy Boost. And you still need the Buoyancy Boost because you're going to still have questions. Stuff are going to still come up. I just recently had to send an email out to my email followers and say, listen, as personable as a coach that I am, and I'm very, very personal. As personal as a coach that I am, I will no longer be texting or allowing, clients to text me. And the reason I'm doing that is because I get so many people who kind of like reach out to me See, they starting already. Who reach out to me, they say they want a session, they want, they want to, and it's like, just taking sessions after session after session after session is not going to help your situation. You need a strategy because you're dealing with a spiritual issue. You need a strategy because you have a spiritual issue that you're dealing with. And a lot of times after they have that consultation or after they have that 30-day follow-up, they still have more questions. And I'm saying to myself, I already know you're going to have questions. You're going to have more questions because more stuff is going to come up. You're going to have more questions because different things are going to still be happening. You're going to have more questions because once you get one set of information or one set of instructions, then something else is going to come and you're going to need something else for that as well. So this is why I always encourage wives, sign up for the Buoyancy Boost curriculum. That gives you an opportunity to let someone walk with you for those 6 weeks, get you back to a healthier place on your journey. Okay. And then you have access to that coach where you can meet with that coach as many times as you want. But when you don't do that, I'm limited to what I can offer you. I'm limited to what I can do because it becomes, you're not taking this serious. And now you're not taking it serious. You're wasting my time. You're draining me. You're draining my energy. And I can be using that and putting that towards another wife who really wants that help. Okay. Week after week, I get several wives seeking to get all the answers they want, they need, and they're looking for that in one session. You're not going to get everything you need, wife, in one session when you're dealing with a spiritual matter. You're not going to get that. All right? I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm a wife and business coach who just so happen to be prophetic, who have expertise in the area of marital separation. I understand the spiritual warfare side of this thing. I understand adultery, addiction, and abandonment. I understand the different hardships that wives are going through. I understand for some of those wives who are saying, oh, I feel crazy, or I feel like, I'm not sure if this is God really, God really speaking to me, or I'm not really sure if this is me saying these things or God saying these things. I understand that lingo because that's how God communicated with me on my journey. So I understand those wives too. What I don't have absolutely no toleration for is the wasting of the time. I don't have time for that. It's either you want the help or you don't want the help. I don't have time for the wasting of the time. I don't have time for that. All right. And so many times what happens is, like I said, they're looking for all the answers in one session and you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get, if you're dealing with a spiritual situation in your marriage, I'm telling you today, you're not going to get all your answers in one session. You're not going to get all your answers in 2 sessions. This is one of the reasons why I walk with wives up to 1 year, because even as you go through that, through after your 6 weeks, you're going to still have more questions. Different things are going to still come up. God is going to start opening your eyes up to new things. God is going to start to reveal things to you. God is going to start showing you, more things. Different things are going to come up on this journey. As a wife coach, I'm limited to how much I can help you without ongoing committed sessions. I'm limited to that. Okay. You're not going to get everything you need. You're not going to get everything you need in that one setting. Therefore, risking your chances of healing and getting what you need to be successful on this journey. You are risking that. You're risking that. You're not really healing. You're just looking for a quick fix. Oh, let me go and get this, inspiration word. Or, oh, let me go and get this encouragement. Or, oh, let me go and, and watch this video. Oh, let me go and get this. That's not going to help you. You're going to constantly be on that, what they call it, the hamster wheel. You're going to constantly be on that hamster wheel. This marriage stand commitment is changing. All right. I have to put this part out there. I have less than 10 minutes, y'all. This marriage commitment journey separation process is changing, and coaches are beginning to show up differently. They are now saying we need more curriculum in the background versus what we can do out here on the front. There's only so much stuff you can do out here on a social media platform without not dealing with so much backlash. And, like I said, you get your own backlash. You deal with your own, spiritual warfare just because you are in this position as a coach and sharing this information. People really times don't really understand that we as people on the front line, we getting bashed the most. we getting hit with all kinds of shots in the background because of what we are out here sharing. And so there's only so much that we can share with you without getting that. And this is why it's like, okay, if I'm going to go through this backlash, if I'm going to go through this, let's make a commitment Let's walk together and let me help you. Then I know, okay, it don't matter what kind of backlash I'm getting or dealing with, because now I know that I am making a difference in this person's life. Now I know I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. All right? If you're married to injury, whether it be natural or spiritual issue, and you're on this journey with a coach for a quality time, you would need to be on this journey with a coach for a quality time in order for you to get the results that you're trying to get. In order for you to get a full understanding of what you have going on. People, and I'm telling y'all this now, they might not tell y'all, but it's coming. I'm telling you that right now. People are not going to keep coming on here week after week after week after week, giving information, and nobody is making a decision to be committed. And if they are, they got that kind of time, Coach T don't. They got that kind of time, Coach T don't. I am looking for wives to grow, mature, develop, and get what God wants for them next. All right? That's what I'm doing. Why do I emphasize this? Because too many wives that I'm seeing standing on this journey, they're not signing up, and they're returning back months and months and months and months later for their situations to now be worse off than it was when they first started. Coach C is the midwife of wives. She helps us birth out our godly ordained power to our war for ourselves, husbands, and others. Thank you. Yes. This is a commitment, wife. This is a commitment. And it becomes very draining. It becomes very draining when wives are not taking this type of commitment seriously. It's like, if you saying, okay, well, I want to stand for my marriage. Okay, boom, let's go. Let's do it. Let's work out. How your boy say, let's go crazy then. Like, let's do it. If you want to do this, then let's do the work. Let's do the work. I love when those wives reach out to me and say, hey, I'm ready. I need some help on this journey. I can't do this by myself. I'm ready to go. Let's wild out. Let's go. Let's do the work. But when you say, oh, well, miss me with the excuses, say I would rather you just say, Coach C, I really, really, really want to do this. But right now I am not in the position to do this. But I really, really, want to do this, but just not right now. That would be good enough for me. Okay? That would be good enough for me. This is why when I hear why I say things like, oh, it's just me and God, I'm just walking this out with God, that bothers me to my core, because what I'm saying to myself is, in a few minutes, she's going to either do one or two or three things. She's going to either quit, she's going to be deceived somewhere on that journey and mess up, or she's going to either go all the way back. Those three things are a guarantee to happen. If you are on this journey by yourself and you're not getting no type of spiritual God with a spiritual matter, now I'm talking about a spiritual matter in your marriage, and you're not getting no kind of help and you're trying to do this on your own, I'm telling you right now, those three things are coming your way. I've seen it happen too many times. This is my frustration today. Because I've seen it happen, and it's happened to more than just one person. It's happened to several wives. And it's like, I've seen when wives walk through the journey and go all the way. I see when wives walk through the journey all the way and take it seriously. And then I see when wives kind of like play around with it, kind of like nitpick it. Like, well, I'm going to just kind of like get what I can get. Like, I'm going to pick up a little bit here, pick up a little bit here. I'm going to listen to this coach over here. I'm going to listen to that coach over there. It's like, that's on you. That's on you. Okay? God, yes, he is there with you in the middle of the night. God is there with you when you can't get to anyone. God is there with you for a guide. But he uses people here on earth to get the job done. He uses people to bring awareness. He uses people and their experiences to help you. You don't need another encouraging word. You don't need that. You don't need another person, encouraging you. You need a strategy. You need healing. You need deliverance. You need to know what you need to do next. Okay? You don't need another encouraging word. You don't need to watch another video. You need someone to help you specifically tailor-made for your situation. You need to allow God to make the necessary changes in you. You need God to transform you, because you won't help your situation doing the same things week after week after week after week after week after week. Nope, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna happen. That's not how this journey goes. One of the decisions I have had to make, it had to be mindful of. And it's hard. It's very hard to do, especially when you are very, very passionate about something. But one of the decisions I have had to make as a coach, as an individual, as a wife, as a mother, One of the decisions I have had to make is I had to separate myself from wife clients who I know who I could truly help and be helpful for, but they're unwilling to do their part. So I'm limited. So I had to remove myself from that because that's draining me. That's draining me. I can't emphasize enough about doing your part and remaining consistent on this journey. You have to do your part. You have to be consistent. If your marriage means anything to you, to your family, to your future, it's imperative that you remain consistent on this journey. It's imperative that you invest in yourself. It's imperative that you do the necessary work. Otherwise, stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time. If God himself have given you a direct word and say, I'm going to walk with you, we're going to do this together, one-on-one, this and that, that's different. Because then God is going to give you a specific journey, a specific strategy, a specific process. He's going to do that. But if you know that God is saying, I'm using this person to help you, or I've called you and placed you in front of this person to be a help to you and to be a guide to you, then you need to take heed to that. Okay? You need to take heed to that. When you are dealing with a spouse who is under demonic influences and you are no longer able to have a reasonable conversation with them, you need someone who has experience that can help you. When I was dealing with sleep paralysis, this is Coach T. When I was dealing with sleep paralysis back in my day, I was calling out to God. But it wasn't until I met with someone in that area of expertise who could help me understand what I was dealing with. I had God. I was calling on God. God, please help me. God, what is this? God, what's going on? Why does this not change? Why is this not this? Why is this not that? But God led me to someone to help me get a better understanding of what I was dealing with. That person gave me insight. I became knowledgeable about that matter. Yes, God will help you get to that person. He will guide you, get to where you need to go. He will do those types of things. A lot of times people keep on saying, well, it's just me and God, it's just me and God. Lies. I'm going to pull back. I digress. Okay, I digress. Listen, there's two sides of this journey. There's two sides of this journey. You either do it and you go all the way, or you don't do it. It's very easy. It's very easy. Let me read this before I go. Believe the hype and jump on this wave. It's a move, ladies. We've been making life so hard when Buoyancy is waiting to help us get over to get our bounce back. Come on. This is it's either you do or you don't. It's either you're going to get on board or you don't. And if you're going to get on board, then you need to figure out how to get on board and be committed to it. It hurts. God have had to tell me several times, Tanika, you won't be able to save all of them. Tanika, you won't be able to help everybody. Tanika, everybody is not going to do what you ask of them. And I have had to learn how to be okay with that. Because my natural personality, I want you to win. I want you to bounce back. I want you to get this. I want you to be able to get your husband back. I want your marriage to be restored. I want your husband to be able to come back home. I want you to be able to have a testimony. I want that for you. So when I see wives that I know I can help, like, oh, they gave me excuses after excuses. I don't have that kind of time, y'all. I don't have that kind of time. I'm on an assignment. God has placed me in this position to help wives who are ready and willing to do their work, who want healing, who want deliverance, who want something different. I got this excuse. This is okay? There's two sides to this. You either want to do this or you don't. You either want to go forward all the way and commit to the journey or you won't. It's only two sides to this. Okay? And if you make a decision not to, please understand, you will stay on this same path year after year, month after month, day after day, week after week, with nothing changing. You will be in that same place next year, in the year after that, in the year after that, in the year after that. So many times wives are looking for, well, I've been doing this and I've been doing these things and my marriage is still in the same place. What about you? What kind of change have you seen or made in yourself? Maybe nothing has changed in your marriage because nothing has changed in you. Maybe God has not did anything in your husband because he can't do nothing in you. Y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for this, okay? Let's pivot, all right? I said it's two sides in a pivot. So let's pivot. Usually after wives go through my curriculum, her Buoyancy Boost. During that time, wives are healing. They are discovering and finding out new things about themselves. They are recognizing their faults. They are recognizing some of the areas that they probably have went wrong, and they are seeing things from a different perspective. They're seeing things with with a different lens. They are starting to find out things about themselves. They're not so caught up now in their feelings, and they're not so caught up in everything that their husband got going on. Now God is revealing things to them and showing them things. Like I said, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I am a coach who just happens to be prophetic. And my area of expertise is in the area of marriage separation. And I do a good job at that with the help of the Lord. Okay? With the help of the Lord. All right? And so normally one of the things, how the Lord uses not only my experience, he uses my gifts and allow me to pull certain things out of wives. And this is why I'm always encouraging wives to do the curriculum, because it's not just about your marriage. It's not just about your husband. The curriculum is a wife developer. So it's pulling things out of you. It's helping you to see things about yourself. It's developing you in different ways, in different areas of your life. It's showing that you are more than just a wife. You are more than just his wife. You are more than just a mother. You are more than just an employee. You have other gifts to offer to the world yourself. And so usually when wives walk me through that, many times that I'm asked for my leadership guidance, and whether it be ministry or business, whether it be ministry or business. Like I said, I worked in the church. I still work. I don't really say I work in the church like that because I'm a small group and we do it outside. It's kind of like at our own, at our own leisure. So it's not in the church, it's outside of the church, but I am still part of my local church where I am ministering to people in the church. So whether it be ministry or business, a lot of times when wives are going through this, some of the conversations that end up coming up is, how you get to this place, or, how can I start, coaching, or how can I start consulting, or, how can I start a business, or how can I get, led in this way. And so we end up talking and taking that route as well. All right. So I want to start by saying this. I won't ever stop being a wife coach. That's what God called me to. I'm a wife coach. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm a wife coach. I'm a wife coach who just happens to be prophetic. That's it. I'm a wife coach who happens to be prophetic. All right. However, growth does bring on changes. And just like I have to help other wives recognize that there are, it's like I said, you only have one or two choices in this thing. And it's like, just like I help wives to understand, it's time to go to that next place. It's time to go to that next level. I too have to also yield to the Holy Spirit concerning my life. I too have to also yield to when the Holy Spirit, and when I recognize the Holy Spirit is calling me out on things. So I will always be a wife coach. I will always be a wife coach. All right. However, as a wife coach, I will remain solid in that area. But as a businesswoman, and as an entrepreneur, I have been feeling the tug from God to help others start their relationship, health, and wellness business, whether through coaching or consulting. Okay. So this is something that the Lord has been tugging with me about. Now, that has not been easy for me to just go ahead and say, okay, God, I wanted to jump on in with that. And the reason it has not been easy because I enjoy coaching wives. I enjoy helping wives. I enjoy helping wives get to that next place on their journey. I enjoy helping wives, oh my God, I was hearing from my husband today, and now all of a sudden I'm not hearing from him no more. I wasn't hearing from him. Or, my husband has been, gone so long, and now all of a sudden he called me out of the clear. Like, that is a joy for me, because I know what I'm doing is helping you, and I know what I'm doing is working. All right. But I have been feeling for a minute now. God been dealing with me about, you need to start helping wives in this area. Now, one of the reasons why that has stood out to me so much today is because of one of the things I'm always hearing wives saying is, oh, I don't have no money. Oh, I don't have no money. Oh, I don't have no finances. Oh, I have no, this and that and the other. Now, guess what? Guess what? Coach T can help you get some money. Okay? Coach T can help you get your own bag. Coach T can now help you get to a place that you need to be on your journey where you can produce a wealth in your life as well. Okay. I am a natural born leader, and I've been doing leadership stuff up for a very long time, and I did not see myself in a place of actually helping others in that way. But the Lord been showing me, but you're already doing that. You already have been, you already have been doing that. And so because the Lord has brought that to my attention, good morning, I do want to pursue him in that area and pursue what it is. So on that note, I say this, right? No more excuses about my husband is the breadwinner. My husband's the breadwinner. My husband's bringing all the money, and my husband was the one who No, stop this, okay? Stop this. Now Coach T will be helping wives start their own coaching or consulting business in the areas of relationships, health, and wellness, okay? In the areas of relationship, health, and wellness. It is time for wives to get their own paper and get their own bag. It is time for wives to get their own paper and get their own bag. So what does that mean? Maybe I will still come on here and talk to you about your marriage separation. Yes. And I want to encourage you, if you have not watched some of my marriage separation or standing videos, I want to encourage you to go back and start watching those, to go back and really start to, engage in those things. I want to encourage you to do that. However, I will be pivoting along the way. Because I want to help wives who want to be helped. I want to help wives who want to be helped. If finances is an issue, let me show you how to start your own business. Let me show you how to do this on your own. Let me show you how to be able to stand in your own when it comes down to relationship, wellness, or health. Now, don't come to me and say, Coach T, I want you to teach me how to be a wife coach, and you ain't even take Coach T wife curriculum. That's not going to happen. All right? That's not going to happen. I am helping wives to get to that place. If you're interested in starting your own coaching or consulting business in the areas of relationship, wellness, health, in those areas, I will help you be able to start it. It's a 4-week curriculum. It is called Her Own Buoyancy Boss. Okay, you're gonna be your own Buoyancy Boss. This will start in the month of May. Of this year, all right? You can go to my Google page, on my business page, Buoyancy, Premarital and Marital Life Coaching. You can see the prices and information there. If you're interested in that, you can sign up for a wife business consultation. It is time for wives to pivot. It is time for wives to be about their father's business. The Lord brought me to my dad pictures, and I hadn't thought about this in a while, but that was one of the things that I woke up with this morning. And one of the things my dad has always said to us, to all his children, my dad was a businessman, and I didn't even think about it like that. And so my dad did construction, and my dad used to always tell us, he would say, all this money in the world and you don't got none of it. All this money in the world and you don't got none of it. And so I said that to wives, stop using the excuses. You are using the excuse of not having the money you need to get the healing that you need. Working in a medical field, I see this all the time. I see people who because I don't have my, medical insurance, I'm not able to get the necessary medical help that I need. If I need a certain surgery, if I don't have a certain type of insurance, I'm not able to do that. How do you eliminate that not being a problem anymore? You eliminate that by bringing a solution to the problem. And so I want to bring that solution. That would be one of the curriculums that I'm offering wives. It's only for 4 weeks. If you are a wife and you are interested in starting your own coaching or consulting business within the areas of relationship, health, and wellness, in those areas. Like I said, if you are a wife and you want to be a wife coach, and that's something you want to do, I am not coaching wife coaches unless they have done her Buoyancy Boost curriculum. But I can give you some basic steps, some basic things that you can start doing to, of course, not just get your LLC, but give you some, resources, give you some guides, give you some, highlights on areas that you can start doing that yourself. Enough with this. I don't have the money to get the necessary help I need. Stop that. You're using that as an excuse. And it's like God is saying enough with that. Coach, she can help you in that area too. So if you're interested in that, I want to encourage you. To sign up for your wife business consultation. Okay. That's different from your wife consultation. So that's a wife business consultation. You can do that also at my website, www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. Listen, for the wives, because I have to go, for the wives who are ready to do their work. For the wives who are ready to do their work, Coach T is not a preacher. Coach T is not a pastor. I am a coach who just happen to be prophetic, who have expertise in the area of marriage separation. And if you are dealing with a spiritual matter in your marriage, if you're dealing with a spiritual matter in your marriage, I want to help you. I want to help you. But that first start with the wife doing her part. She has to do her work. She has to get her healing. She needs her deliverance. I want to encourage you to sign up for your wife consultation. You can do that at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. Listen, y'all, I apologize for being so, but that's how it came to me this morning. And so I do hope you have a happy self-care Saturday. I do hope you do something that you enjoy doing. Listen, I will see y'all on the other side. All right? Blessings.